Your host, and welcome to another action-packed day. I can't wait to get into the video, but before we do, you know what time it is. You gotta hit it. Play the video.
Free to enter the wonderful world now.
All right, you beautiful people. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go into some skill settings. As you can see, when you build your forces army and you're going up against really powerful cities like level 6 or 7, it's important to get yourself going and actually building a good skill set so your guys doesn't die. Now, here in our alliance in Europe, it's been a little busy. As you can see, we got multiple people here, and it's just getting a little crowded. You know, over here we got our Mr. Gilgamesh and his lovely concubine at the time, because he changes wives very often. But anyways, we don't question our king's taste. We just follow his orders. Now today we're going to go a little bit more about some skills. So let's go into this, and today we're going to cover about support, how to do support, why support is necessary, because when you actually go into battle, here let's put up a nice little thing here. Okay, so right here, this is a level 5 city. We have Gilgamesh, who is level 35. He's facing all these guys alone, and boom, he wipes them out without getting scarred. Not even once. But let's look at something a little bit more impressive. Let's see, city defense, city defense, city defense. Is it? No, that won't be it here. I'm gonna try to find something really good. City army, city army. Pretty much is when you getting yourself into a really good flow. Here you go. You can fight a level 5 city, full defense, and not lose a single target. And we're gonna talk about certain things like in bars, how you lose life, how to gain life, how to tank, how to buff your skills, and certain skills that are going to be for your benefit of your army. Now, when we talk about support skills, we talk about passive skills that give you better benefits for your units. We talk about even healing. We're talking about cleaning you up when you're having certain faults and certain status effects like disabled on or even stun. We're talking about taunt. So there is a couple of good skills out there that you yourself can actually use upon your units. What are they? What do they look like? What are my favorites? Now we're going to get into it. So we're going to go to the skills. Let's go into the passive, because passives are one of my favorite ones. First of all, one of the best healing passive skills is this. It's called Strong Defense. Now, Strong Defense is very easy to get. You can get it by getting rid of Beowulf. Everyone gets it for free. You only can use it one time. It only works on the hero that you put it on, but man, it is great. So what it does is during the turn, during the battle, and this happens each turn, they're going to gain reform status to self, restoring partial troops. So what does that mean when what's the difference between healing and resurrection? Restorative benefits when you have that. What is the difference between actually healing somebody and getting that? So when you're healing, you're only going to be healing what the current hero is having as far as damage is going, which is the bar. Let's go back to here, because that's not it. Let's go back to here so you guys can understand. Let's go to somebody who actually took damage. Boom, boom. Oh, right here. So when you have damage, as you can see here, the red, that invisible red, like a kind of like a faded away bar, same as the hero over here. When you look at Yuki, she has like a faded blue. So when you use skills like Reform, what they're gonna do is restore the damage that is that you need to rest up, which is usually what happens is when you go into a battle. I'm gonna try to make this as clear as possible. It can get a little confusing. So usually if you lose a battle, you have a certain amount of troops when you go back to the city that restore automatically because they're all injury. So you can look at Reform as restoring the injured right during battle instead of you going back into your city, which is really important. So if you put it on a tank and that tank is using abilities like Taunt, let's go here. Boom, boom, boom. Taunt is an initiative skill right here. Okay, so if you use like a skill like Taunt, where all the enemies are attacking your tank, and you put Reform on there, or the skill Strong Defense, or is it Strong Defense? Just making sure. Yeah, Strong Defense. If you're putting Taunt and Strong Defense together, what's going to happen is when you're losing those troops, every turn you're restoring them. So if your defense is really high, you're not taking that much damage, guess what? They can't defeat you. And you put that on a chief, boom, they can't defeat that chief. Another good ability to combine this with, if you want to put more passive on it, I always like putting Golden Apple. Golden Apple is really phenomenal. When it is maxed out, Golden Apple can put up to 36 stats on each of your status that are not part of political or charisma. It will increase your strength, it will increase your intelligence, your defense, your speed by 36 during battle. Outside of battle, no, but during battle, it will do that, and that's a big thing, because if you're a tank, such as here as Gilgamesh, he's 228 naturally, with him being max star right now, not being max leveled. So that means when he goes into battle, he's doing plus 36 in there, which will give him a whopping 264 defense. That is incredibly high. It's ridiculous. It takes a lot to beat him down. And guess what? If you're doing something like a healing, and you're healing that potential up, guess what? They can't really do much. I mean, it's really just like they're literally hitting their head against a wall, hoping that your three commanders can go. Because oh man, I get so excited, I lose my breath sometimes. But Gilgamesh can actually solo by himself. And it is funny, and we'll go into another video why he can do that. It has to do with his other passives and combo, but this is something that we're just focusing on the skills themselves. But those are my two favorites, which is Golden Apple, as well as Reform, which is the Iron Defense. Those two really do really well together. Here's another one that's a good support. It is called Forge Ahead. Now, this is going to increase your attack and speed. This is really good on heroes that are naturally fast with high attack power. You don't want to put it on heroes, or you don't want to put it on heroes that have defense and they don't really go like that. It's not that much of a good booster, but it is great on heroes that have high. So let's go to Dojo, for instance. Dojo has wonderful speed. 123 speed is perfect. If I wanted to, I can actually put another 20 points in her max level in speed to make her incredibly fast. But for instance, what I did here, I combined Golden Apple, so she's gonna get the 36 here, which that will make her speed into 159, and you slap on 24. So 159 plus 24, you're talking about 183 speed just alone, but her attack power, she has 188, and we're gonna slap on 36 on that, plus you're slapping on a total of 24. That's 60 points that you're putting in the attack power, and I'm sorry to say this, but that's 248 strength alone. That right there is ridiculous. So it's important to know when to do it. Now, it's very limited. You can't put it on every single hero you want, so make sure you select the proper heroes to do your best on. I really like doing her this way. It works really well. She's a super fast epic hero. Why am I going over epics when you can do it on legendaries? Because epics are really easy to 4-star red rank, and you can make an epic with these passive beat a legendary. I mean, I'm being serious here when I say that they can literally go toe to toe with these two passives with a legendary and be able to win, because what you're just doing is you're furthering on the strength and benefits that they already have, and they're really quick and they're able to do as much, and they're easy to awaken. Really good heroes to use on support skills. Now let's move on to another passive, and we're going to only things that are going to be self-targeting. I'm not going to go into like disarm, such as like with holy touch disarm and stuff, because that's going to be another video. We're going to do a video just on status effects, what they do, what they mean, everything. So we're going to just focus on certain abilities that help make you better. Here's another great one that I'm working on unlocking. It's called Wise Advice. Now, this right here, yes, it may seem low, 6%, but when you max it out, it's going to give you about 20% activation. And what's great about this is that when you have abilities that go off every turn, or every other turn, or prepare a turn, let's say you have one that is preparing a turn, then you can actually double up and activate it, because it's like a self-activation and abilities. And this actually works on assault and initiative. So let's say you got Thump right here, Thump. So after a normal attack, deals damage again. Well, with Wise Decision, such as, I mean, not Wise Decision, that would be actually a pretty good name, but Wise Advice, with Wise Advice, it actually will increase another chance of it activating again within the same turn. That's what's really great, because there's no cooldowns on the skills. So what's great about it, when there's no cooldown on skills, they can happen again. And this allows it to have another activation chance of triggering that activation chance. It's really good if you play a lot of assaults, because assaults automatically have trigger effects. The trigger effects is every time it does something, it triggers, where it wouldn't really work on things like right here for Destiny Path. You have to reduce a single enemy defense, and when it's cast, it won't really work on those kind of things. It's more like, I prepare a turn, that's going to trigger this effect, or I'm going to normal attack, that's what's going to trigger the effect. Those are better because you have more chances of activating, because there are certain things that have to take place before the skill takes effect. Like dealing a normal attack can give you a double benefit. That's what really good about that skill. Here's another good one, which is this is more of an S tier skill. This is Rebellious Justice. Now this is only exclusive to 3 types of units, which is Cavalry, Shield, and Spears. Now what's really great about this is that not only you're going to be increasing your strength that is stackable, but it's also going to deal damage as well. So this is what you call a hybrid support card. Hybrid support cards will be like, hey, I will do this, and then this effect will be better. So it has mostly, it could be rather formation, or because formations are another one, or command. Formation and commands are definitely one, but right now there's only about 2 formations in here. You got, of course, reduced damage to all of your groups. This affects this, and they gain first strike, which means automatically they will take their action first before anything else. That one is pretty good. And then this one is, of course, it's going to increase the damage that is dealt, and damage that is taken is reduced. This is another great, but the thing is with these, they do require you to give up S legendary heroes. You don't want to do that in the beginning unless you have a second copy. I always say that if you had a choice between red starring and taking the skill, if you have multiple copy, take the skill, because the skill is going to be a lot more useful than you than you red starring a legendary, because red starring a legendary is only going to give you 10 points, but inheriting a skill, that's going to take you far, because that right there is going to give you a lot of tools for other heroes to use. This right here is more about units. That's another type of support class that you can do. This one is more particular to certain types of units, like if you have cavalry, if you have spear, like right here. As for spear units, you can see what it applies to, and they'll give a big benefit effect right there. And another category you will see that support is command. Command is another one where it will do certain things. It will be able to increase, heal, apply status effect to your enemies. So we'll go over that right now, but let's get back into passives, because I really wanted to go into a little bit more about support skills and what skills I truly like. Those are a couple of skills I like right there. Now, here's another one. This one comes from more of the legendary, but I will let you know, you cannot regain reform twice in the same turn. Don't put this with iron defense. It's not going to activate twice because you already got reformed once. So make sure if you do this to put it on a different legendary, and that right there will be better. Now, my honest opinion, there's no real big difference between Iron Defense and Iron Will. Iron Will does get a little bit more, but the truth in the fact is, it's just another one, because Iron Defense you only can use once. So if you had the Iron Will, you could do it again, and that way you have 2 heroes who are healing like crazy, that are like tanks. And let me tell you, there are those 2. I'm telling you this right now, Iron Defense, it's one of my favorites, one of my favorite skills to use, because it is so useful. I've had most of my members in my alliance use it on certain heroes that are very tanky. They've been doing way better, being able to take level 7 land, because they are doing phenomenal, and I'm more proud of them being able to do it themselves. They are so amazing. My alliance, the members of them, I can't do anything without them, because they are just so amazing, and they really do have a great personality, and really have great motivation, and they're always on top of things. So I just want to give a big shout out to my alliance members. You guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you, and we will be number 1 very shortly. Now, here's another great one I like a lot. It's called Heroic Dedication. Heroic Dedication will give a chance of dodge. So that's like evasion. That goes in 4 turns. It does affect with intelligence. It will increase your intelligence, and it will help you do magic damage. And another one of those hybrid ones. Alright, and now here's another ability that is a little weird. So when you grant what is called Spurt, it actually increases your damage rate. So it's not going to deal damage. There's a confusion, because you're going to see initiative cards. Let's see if I can find one. It's one of the B's. It's from Alexander. No, it'll be A. Bum, bum, bum. Well, this is another one I like a lot. Actually, while we're looking at this, here's another great support. This one is Glamorous Fox. It is a harder skill to get because the hero you need to get is not in the silver box, it's in the gold. But this one here is an amazing support skill. It grants Blessing immune to crowd controls, so you don't have to worry about getting stunned like massively or anything like that. It does restore your troops based on the damage when dealing physical damage for 2 turns. It's a great support. It's wonderful, and it's one of those things that it really will help you do another thing. And remember the skill before I said called Wise Advice? Here's another one, which is called Snake Blessing. Now, Snake Blessing is really good. So if you put Wise Advice and you put Snake Blessing on a skill that you want to be able to trigger again, such as like Osiris specialist skill. Let's go to Osiris. You go to the Truth has returned, and if you go to Osiris and you do something like this, these skills are called status effect skills. So this skill is like reducing the enemy strength by 60%. That is ridiculous. Think about it. 60%. You're putting Wise Advice and you're putting like Snake Charm, and you're able to get in there. I am going to be putting that on here. I'm going to be getting rid of Bandage and putting that on there. I may do Corrosion as well. Not really happy with Corrosion as well. It works really well, the burn and poison, but we'll go over that in another video for the status effects. Right now I just want to focus on that. But yeah, but if you do those 2 things and you're constantly triggering the same effect, doesn't matter if you have 3 different skills that like, hey, I have a chance to activate this, I have a chance to activate this. Now you're probably wondering, well, how do I know what chances of activation is? Right here in this corner, it says chance to activate is 40%. 40%. Think about it. If you have 1 skill and you have 2 skills that boost the activation, you're actually going to be having a chance to get it off twice. So that's really good when you get into that. Let's see here. Snake Blessing. Yeah, there you go. And what's great, it's going to increase by 20%. Now, of course, these are 35 and 40%. They're not as trusting as passives. That's why I'm telling you, because look at passive. We're going to go to Wise Advice. It's a whopping 100%. That means this is guarantee it's going to happen, and it gives you a percentile. It's going to make sure your skills, that even those low skills that are overpowered that have a 30% chance, this gives you another 20% on top of that. So you're guaranteed that skill is going to hit on a 50% shot. So you got a 1 in 1 chance of getting hit, better than going 1 in 3 chances of actually activating. That right there, my friend, is a good support card to mix with any magic dealer that's out there. Because even with Assault, you get 100%, and I think all Assaults is mostly 100%, some are 25, this is 30, but you do get a great percentage on a lot of these compared to the initiative. Now, let's continue on with the passives. We'll go over some more. Let's see here. We talked about Reform. We talked about increased damage. Yeah, that's right, we didn't show you the increased damage, but yeah, pretty much is what it's gonna do is add more damage to your army, and each turn you increase strength by 7. That is really good. So not only you're dealing more damage, your triggering effects is going to continue on by 50% on the next time, and you're going to increase strength 7 each turn. So that's going to make your guy very bulky. There's a great hero that matches with this, but we'll go in that in the future things. You know, we'll talk about that in another time. Now let's go into formations really quick so we can talk about formations. Formation supports, usually formations start in the very beginning of the battle. So they're going to be, as soon as the battle start, they're going to activate like the first 3 turns. This is just a passive effect that is a formation. So formation can be mixed between passive, a command, initiative, or an assault. And commands are usually in the beginning of the battle. So we got 2 great examples, like Make Amends is more like a command effect, where Break Enemy Lines is more like a passive effect that's continuously throughout the battle. Now commands, like I said, these support skills are mostly for the beginning of it, and they're usually hybrids. They're usually very good, strong hybrids. Live Fire right here is one of the ones I learned, and I gave it to one of my heroes that has high intelligence, because not only it's going to cause disorder, which is all attacks and skills may choose any target without preference. So that means it scrambles. What is that? It's going to scramble the computer's way of targeting, so it makes it more random. So that way they can't really hit the lowest hero HP. They have no control of that, because they will target the lowest hero and be able to keep fighting on and on and on and on. All right, and then what's even great is that this also has reform, because reforms are great, and it has a healing rate of 80%, automatic, affected by intelligence, and that lasts for the first from the second turn on for 3 turns. So it's going to last for 3 turns, and it starts on the second turn. So when the battle begins, you're not going to get the healing right away, but on the second turn, which means the second time it attacks, it will be able to do the healing, which is really great as well. You have this wonderful skill that has the ability to taunt the opponent's chief, main leader, because remember, in battle it's important, because if you're fighting head to head like that, whoever's chief falls first, doesn't matter how much soldiers are left on the vice, is the winner. So this is actually a really good, so it'll taunt the other person to attack you. This will force them to launch an attack, and you increase your defense by 20 for 4 turns, which 20 in this game for defense is really good. You know, you're only getting 100 max of bonus points, and having 20 is actually really significant. And that's if you're doing legendaries with, of course, if you're doing actually, let me restate that, because it's not 100 points. It'll be 10 points. Boom, 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 boom. You have about, legendaries you have about 20 points legendary. So yeah, okay, yeah, I was right. So it is 100 points, because you get 10 for each level, for every 10 levels, and then you get 10 for each star. So epics, the max that epics can do is 90, rares are 80, and legendaries are 100 bonus points that they can get. So that's what you have to do. So this right here is actually really good, because it's going to give you an advantage. Like if I use this on Gilgamesh, and we'll explain it later, a couple of builds on Gilgamesh we're going to do, but with Gilgamesh it will be really good on him as well. And then we have things like this where they reduce damage, which is really good. You get to reduce your physical damage received by the heroes. You'll notice a lot of, and by the way, you'll notice a lot of support cards being intelligent base, like the healing and stuff. So that's just something to keep in your mind. Mostly, I think almost all of them for the support are all intelligent base. That's the hero skill level. So if you do use these support cards, make sure you're putting it on a hero that has a high intelligence, so you get the maximal amount of benefits for it. And usually, what is a good support hero? Well, if you get really lucky, this hero right here is one of the better supports. He does really good. Now, how do you know he's a support hero? He's a legendary, and look at his stats. They're C's, they're B's. I mean, complete garbage compared to like S and A. He has no benefit for him but his skills. Now, this hero, he's not really a support. He's more of a status skiller. So we're going to show you a real support hero. that you guys will like a lot. Now, he is part of an Egyptian squad. Let's get here. Boom, 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 boom. He'll be all the way in the bottom. Okay. So, Thawd, he's, as you can see, his things are all C's. Really crappy, but look at that intelligent. It's 105 starting off, which is really good. So when he's max level, he's automatically going to be 155. And if you star him, by any chance you get that lucky getting 5 stars on that, he will go up to 200, which is really good because if you read his passive effect, I mean, not his command effect and his support skill, what he does is he grants major defense boost. I'm talking about major defense boost, and he heals. So what he's going to do is heal the group, and that's going to give him a restored of partial troops and a healing rate every time he uses it for 4 turns. And that is ridiculously really good, and it's called Save the World, and you can see why it's called Save the World, because that effect right there, it's going to heal crazy good. It's going to keep healing, boost defense, boost defense. Every turn you're going to heal, boost defense, boost it, and max rate will probably be 100, and you're probably talking about close to 40 defense doing a max rate because it's every 2 points going up, and it's every 4 points. So you're talking about a really high heal point that you're going to just heal the hero and boost the defense. Man, this guy is such a great support, one of the best supports in the game. Another great support, if we're talking about legendaries, here is Isis. She's, like I said, she has terrible status as far as an advantage of units, but she is one of these calls for a status effect that she has that she'll cause weakness. She negates healing. She's really good for that. So Isis is a really good unit. She is amazing to take down those tanky healers. She just does a really good job on that. And another healer right here, we get Himi. She is good 100%. This girl is a healer. No tomorrow. She knows how to heal. And this support skill is wonderful because it will take two allies, heal them up ridiculously and reduce the damage they get by a single unit or a single ally, which is, when they say unit in this game, ally units, they mean all the units that that ally has. It's really just a single ally of your team that you have. So if you have a team of 3, it's one of the other allies, and they're talking about the units they have. But man, she is one of the best healers. If you get her, you are doing really well. You're just gonna have to fit her in, and she's a 3 cost. So being a 3 cost, it is But we'll go into guides later on. Let's get back into some support skill. But that's what more like a support hero looks like. If you're going to pull, now you can make a support hero. You can make anybody into a support hero. That's what I love about this game. You can customize any hero that's support. I could take Osiris, who has high intelligence, and make him into a support hero. He would be phenomenal too, because his intelligence would be wonderful. But I want to mix him up and make sure of stuff like that. Now, another good one that you're going to use a lot, and it's very easy to get, is Long Journey. Long Journey comes from this shield guy. He comes into the silver pack, so he's very easy to take in. He does give the first 4 turns, you get reduced of damage by 12%. I think it's about 25% max, but it is so good, because slap that on a shield team. Like for him, you slap that on a shield team, you put them out there, they're gonna tank even cavalry. The cavalries are gonna have, and they're weak against horses, so they're gonna have a hard time if you have a heal, reduce damage, and chip away, because shield teams are mostly based on hero skills, or they're based on being tanky, healing over time, and slowly damaging the enemy. They're not great for capturing. I'm gonna let you guys know that shields are not the best for capturing squares, such as lands, level 7 and stuff. Leave that to the spear and cavalry and bows. But shields are great defenders, and they do wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. Now, here's another one. It's called Negate Healing. That's more of a status. We're gonna go into that later, and it's pretty much it negates the healing of the opponent. Let's see here. Here's another one that you can stack with a team. This comes from Apollo. So this is Apollo naturally has it. So if you have an Apollo, a legendary, you can stack this up on a team where the skills are going to be an active force. Because if you can activate that skill every turn, man, I'm telling you, it's same as Osiris skill. If you activate that skill every turn, and their strength is just demolishing 60% every single turn, they will not be able to do any damage to you. And that's what you have to do. And here comes YCs. YCs is for the strength and intelligent. Now, this is a really good, I'm sorry, not YCs, West Seas. West Sea is really good because it does all your allies' strength and intelligent. It is an amazing skill, and it's very easy to get because this guy, I believe the game gives it to you. I didn't use it as well because I kind of made the decision to sacrifice them to get my golden apple. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit yawning today. I used them to get my golden apple because my golden apple was more important for me because of the strategy and what I was going to use. So that's all for commands. Like I said, for as far as support goes. Now for initiative, we're going to go over here. Here's one that reduces damage to enemy group called Suppression. Really good if you put it with other damage reduction. It really helps a lot. You're going to build up because if you ever get about 80% reduction in damage, you're going to be doing phenomenal. Here's another one. This is shared damage. So this is, again, you're going to put on a tank and you're going to put on a chief. You're going to put on the chief and everything. And you're going to put this on, and you're going to give them all the heals in the world, all the support in the world, and it is going to be wonderful because this effect here, it is very good. It's very to get a good combo team with a tank healer, but you gotta be careful because we'll talk about the statics, the status effects about what can happen to a tank and how much they can turn into Swiss cheese and paper if you're not watching what you're doing. Now, here's another great one. This increases strength, but this is a temporary increase. This is not a permanent increase. These are for 2 turns. So the initiatives is not usually the best. You have rescue. Rescue is a really, really good heal. It applies automatically each turn when you take damage. Now, if you don't really like that, there's always Band-Aid. I'll show you what Band-Aid is in a moment. Even though Band-Aid is not really the best heal, it does work for people who have high initiative. I mean, not initiative, intelligence. That way you can actually use it. But besides that, it's not really the best. Here you go. Band-Aid, because it only does 80%, and when you max it out, it's about 120, and it depends. It depends. Like, to me, it fails a lot because the chance of activating is 30%. That's the chance. So it's not a reliable heal because how low the chances are to go off. So that's something that you can take a chance of doing. It works. When it works, it works. It's phenomenal. You can't really beat it. Here's another great one. This increases your units and it increases the defense, so that way it will increase all allies and give them good defense for more if you need it a little bit more. Here's another good one for bows. This actually will increase the physical damage rate as well as it affects the it deals physical damage according to the strength, and that right there is going to happen every 2 turns. Let's see, here's another one that we already talked about. That combos. I was gonna put this in for more of the attack video, for attack skill videos, like really good attack skill, but we could do it as a support because technically it's just giving a single unit the ability to attack twice the normal attack. You would put this on Neza if you had a Neza or Dojo. If you wanted to do Dojo, I do Dojo a little different, but I was thinking about actually putting this on Dojo instead of doing. Well, I like my Dojo. I don't really want to switch her, but you can put it because this is a double damage dealer, which is really effective and can be really awesome. It does have a 25% chance of activating, which you would put in those skill activation ability with those guys because you want to have that double normal attack with a high attack power. It's just ridiculous. It does really well. Here's another great one. So this will increase your strength, intelligence, and speed for your allied group itself, that whole team, by 12 for 2 turns, but it also removes like stun, disarm, weak, poison, burn. So those right there will help cleanse you, and it's really a good skill. Here's another combo you can do. It just does the same thing we were talking about. Here you go. No, that's another. Here you go. Okay, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Here's another great one. This right here is only for cavalry shields, spears, and siege. It increases self for strength for 25, and it gives that additional damage rate like we talked about before to other heroes, which is kind of, like I said, it's a little bit fun because it reminds me of Trample in a way. It increases the damage rate, but it also gives the ability to splash damage. If for people who understand what splash means if you hit, whatever damage overcomes that single hero will go on to the other enemy heroes. So it will do that. That's what really Spurt is. It's kind of like if you think of a single army and you have one hero, he's attacking all the armies at once. You know, like those games, the video games where they spin around and they just hit all this, like the Dynasty Warrior games. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. That's the status. Here's another great one. That's called Wind of Recovery. You do need to sacrifice Thawed 4. It does remove debuff status on a single unit that has lost most of its units and restore. I don't think it's worth sacrificing him because his ability Save the World or Saved by the World is really hands down one of the best healing abilities, and I rather not give him away for an ability like this, Wind of Recovery. It's not the best. I would not do it. It's just not worth it. Here's one that you increase magic damage by your allies, so that's something that's more of a static booster, and it's from an epic. You know, a lot of times you're gonna notice this. You're gonna see that support cards are better in A than they are in the S. And there's a lot of good B support cards. Don't get me wrong, there's some really, but the A rank epic skills are phenomenal, and they're very easy to get. Very easy to level up. 100% does a really good job. Like for instance, for this one, increase self-defense and you share damage, so you're mitigating damage all day long. Here's another reduced damage. And here's the Prophecy. Prophecy is actually really good because it has a 40% heal chance. And what's good about it is that it'll do 2 units at the same time. Here's another one. This guy right here, I can't stand him. I don't know why. It's something about his face. Just look at his face. Something about his face, or maybe his armor, or the chest he's wearing. I just don't like him. Ugh. Maybe it's that stupid little crown on his head. Something about him. I don't like him at all. Don't like him that much. Anyways. But yeah, this one removes all buff effects on your enemies, and that's a self-statusing one. That's not a support one. But that's pretty much it, guys. Those are all the really good supports, the ones I recommended. My favorite one is Golden Apple and Iron Defense. Those are my 2 favorite support, really support heals and support self-status buff. I love passive Those are my favorite skills in the game, but there's really good initiative skills, and command skills are where it's at. If you combine some passive with command skills for your support units, you'll do very well. And then you can put like a third initiative. Now, assaults don't really have anything that much. Like I was saying, they're more affecting the other target, like reduced damage. Here's one that is, after that, increase your physical crit rate. That's fine, but if really assaults are more affecting the other person. Alright everyone, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. This is Gabriel Phoenix, and I hope you had a nice, wonderful time. Here's to you, goodbye.